Thank you, Philippe, and it's such an honor to be here. So my name is Sijie Wu, and I'm coming from the Ant Group. Today, I'm going to share with you a practice Ant did with DID and a payment. So first of all, when we talk about the DID, we want to illustrate what is KYC. So all the financial service providers have obligation to do KYC, which means know your customers. They need to know who you are and are you authorized to move any funds. And because of that, they have to do a lot of things. For example, asking people to upload photos of their identities in order to know who you are. And they need to collect a lot of information of a client. So I noticed a lot of people traveling to China this week. And I was wondering how many of you have been uploading your ID photos to WeChat Pay or Alipay in order to get the financial services, payment services. See a lot of you, yes. So currently, the experience is not great, as you have experienced. You need to upload photos everywhere. And every time when you're uploading your ID photos, I don't know how you feel about it. I don't feel comfortable about it. So I always write, this photocopy is only available for certain circumstances, and it's not available for others. It's not working, actually. But I think everyone does it because we don't have a choice. We have to upload the photocopies, otherwise we don't enjoy the services. So that's why when I say siloed KYCs, is because you have to repeatedly uploading your photo everywhere, and it's not portable, and it's not reusable, and most importantly, it doesn't feel safe. And the second is to the institution-wise, the cost is extremely high. I remember last year when I attended a conference in Hong Kong, I heard from a KYC suppliers saying, if they want to do one KYC for a client, they can charge for $6 per client per time. And imagine if you have a large amount of clients, how much money you have to pay. It's just a huge burden for institutions to do that. And the other thing is the data security issue. So if everyone's personal information, very sensitive information, are stored in vendors, in different financial institutes, big or small, their security level is different, and those small ones are very easy to be the targets of security breaches. So to either side, none of them enjoy the KYC process now, but it is happening because we don't have a choice. So when DID comes into the picture, we were thinking, what if identity is no longer stored in silos? What if it's owned and used by users and cryptographically verifiable and reusable across different service providers? Will that be good? And I think the answer is yes. So DID and verifiable credentials are shifting identity to a new paradigm. It's changed to the institution-held to user-controlled, and which enable a secure instant verification at the point of the payment. So originally, you have to take your passports face-to-face to do the business, or uploading a photo. Nowadays, with the DID, you can hold the VC in your digital wallet, and decided to present the credentials to any payment suppliers when you do it. And when you do it with the selective disclosure, you can selectively disclose some of the information or full of the information depending on the situation. And it have much lower onboarding cost. It have much higher efficiency. So next, when I explain the example we did, you will see how much efficiency it has been improved. And also it has a WCC open standards, which everybody can see and can practice. So last year, in 2025, Ant has applied a large-scale trial to the Central Bank of China here, and we go ahead with the trial. And this month, April, is the one-year cycle of the trial. So in the trial, what we did is we published a digital identity wallet in Alipay, which is not the one you see on the front page. It's still hiding somewhere. We have issuer, which we're working with the Ministry of Public Security to issue the national identities digital credentials. And then we have the financial service provider, which is Ant, Huabei, if any Chinese will know the service. So when users starting to have first-time application to Huawei, they will starting to apply a credential, verifiable credentials from the Ministry of Public Security, and the public security will identify and verify the person's identity and issue that VC to the user. Then when the user having services to the financial services, they can easily, with one click, to present the VC and very quickly to enjoy the service. So they do not need to uploading anything. They do not need to write their numbers, their names, or just in one click and biometrics. So the experience is really good. And last year, we have been serving 40 million users in 1 year. And in all the cases, there's no complaint. Everybody's happy with it. We even served more than 400 visually impaired persons in the whole process. And the KYC time, usually it takes 3 minutes to 10 minutes, depending whether you have your ID card with you. But with the new services, it can be done within 1 second. So the efficiency has been much improved. And now you can even integrate the KYC process in the payment, because it's hard, the users hardly feel anything, but they know what they have been done. And there's one of the most important feature is, in the past, when the user changed their identity, for example, they report stolen of their identity, or if they have did a sex transformation surgery, or they going abroad when the old identity card is no longer valid, the financial services cannot feel about it. So we don't know. But now with the new service, once the status of their VC has been changed, the government can issue a status change notification to the service infrastructure. And when we notice that next time the client represents the VC, the financial service will know it is no longer valid, and they can ask them to reclaim a new one or terminate the service. So it is aligned with the FATF requirement for constant identity verification. And with the case study, I think it's all very success, but with 1 year's trial, we still realize a lot of things need to be done, and it's from different perspectives. For example, the technical ones. We had a discussion before the panel. We're talking about the balance between privacy and security, and the privacy between the balance between the privacy and the regulatory compliance. We want to be secure, but we don't want to be not invading the privacy. So the balance is really hard. And it also goes to when we talk about the key management. Because in traditional in Web3 world, when you lost your private key, which means no one can control your identity wallet, and you lost the identity wallet forever. But in real cases, a lot of people, users, they are not experts in Web3. And when they forget their keys, they just asking to restore them. And if we restore their key, which means we keep their key in the cloud. If we don't do that, then we face complaints. So it's really a dilemma in real world. So we're starting to have different security levels, and the client can choose which levels that you want. And also the user experience is associated with it. We want to provide a great user experience, but we also want to present to the users what they are using and how it's different from the other services. And also the second is to regulatory. It is one of the reasons why we need to apply for the consent of the national authorities before we actually taking the trial in place, is because it somehow had a breakthrough to the current regulatory. The current regulatory only recognize the validity of a real identity, for example, our ID cards or a passport. So, regulatorily, the VC is not in the same legal position as the actual identity card. So, what we can say is, I think it's in very early stage for law and regulation makers to make associated regulatory according to the VC. and recognize the liability and accountability for the trust triangles. And third is the ecosystem. It is fall into a very classic cold start problem. So when the ecosystem starts, people need to adapt a new way of doing things, and it's always very difficult from the beginning. Maybe no one wants to follow. And we actually take a lot of time to persuade the national authority and the financial service providers, which is our own company, to do the practice. So once the network effects is on, I think it will be developing very quickly, and it will affect in our daily life, not only financial services, but also when you're playing games, you need to verify your age is above 18. When you're buying things, for example, entering into a conference, you can prove that you're actual attendees, extra. And the last but not least is the interoperability, especially when we're dealing with cross-border business. So we see there's a lot of DID methods and VC formats, and even the digital credentials have different definitions currently. And we still need standards and working groups to do the interoperability between different standards. And also for cross-border business, I think we lack of infrastructure for trust registry for the international environment. So a lot of work still need to be done. However, what I want to say is through Ant Group's practice, we have been proven that identity as a permission is the new primitive. It's great for user, for the institution, and for everyone. The question is no longer whether we can do it or not. I think the question is how fast we will align and we can push this forward. Thank you so much.